Hello, and welcome to Salesforce Release Readiness Live for Summer 17. We're going to be covering all of the latest and greatest features in the Summer 17 release. So thank you for joining us, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. One last thing before we get started, I would like to present our forward-looking statement. Because we are so lucky to be joined by our product team, we may be discussing some future technologies. So please make sure that you're making all purchasing decisions based on currently available technology. So without further ado, I'd love to kick it off and introduce our panel of product managers who will be covering the App Cloud.
So I'm Vladimir. I'm excited here to cover some amazing Picklists enhancement we're doing, as well as a new time field that we're piloting in summer. In summer 17, I'm happy to announce that we're releasing three features based on ideas you posted, and those are Picklist default values now would be based on your formula, and they will no longer will be static. So you might know before that the only way to set up default is to specify specific value on a specific field, and that value will be default no matter what user profile you're using. And what is most importantly, if any of you use a global value set, that default value will be default for all the fields that use that global value set.
That's super powerful. It's like smart defaults.
It's a smart default. It's like super smart. Mm-hmm. And we're also introducing a next step for you to adopt global value sets with a promotion tool that allow you to take the single field and promote it to global value set, so you can reuse those values across multiple entities and across multiple fields. So we know that they've been idea exchange handling for quite a while, and this is one step in that direction. And while we clearly want to deliver 100% solution, this is at least something that you can use today and benefit today. And we are adding a new type of the field, which is a time field, and it's going in pilot in summer, so you can request a pilot and request a participation in a pilot program and check it out today. And our current target under the forward-looking statement is to make it generally available in winter 18, so next release. So, as I mentioned, promoting fields to global value set, it's as simple as a one-button click. You should be able to go edit your field and see the new button if you're already in summer. And the only restrictions that the field should be restricted, meaning that it cannot have more than 1,000 values, both active and inactive. And you can switch your field to restricted by one checkbox, and I'm going to show it later. Field value defaults. So you might be familiar with that field, with the text field already. You might have seen it on the text fields, on number fields. So now we're bringing it to custom picklist fields and custom multi-select picklist fields. You'll see it when you create a field or when you edit the field definition. And what's interesting here, I want to bring that complex diagram here in a play. So it's how it operates with global value sets, and what's happened when you have both value default and field default, what we call them today. So because you use a formula, sometimes formula will not be able to resolve to an existing value. And you might be wondering, so what will happen? So this diagram describes it. So if you have a default value on a field, it will try to resolve the formula. If it's not able to just resolve it, it will look, hey, do we have a default value as a value default? If yes, then it will become default value. If no, then nothing will be set up as a default.
Yeah, good news is I think this just works the way people expect.
Yeah.
So you've covered their back even if there's a bad formula.
Yes, and you can always have as like a safe default value on your global value set or on the field itself in case your formula cannot resolve it. So if we don't know that user profile, for instance, we'll just set up it to like high priority case or something like that. And time field is also, as all of those ideas, they're all based on idea exchange, and time field been around for quite a while, longer than I would want it to be. And it's just another field type that completes a set of primitive fields we have. You all know that we have datetime field and date field, and it was only natural to introduce time field. So now we cover three of them. And together with just an ability to create a field, we are providing some enhanced formula support for that. So you'll be able to get your second, minutes, milliseconds, hours, and things like time value.
Milliseconds.
So it can, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. We were thinking even going even lower than milliseconds, but we stopped.
And
you can use
IoT people.
for IoT people,
Yeah.
clearly. And then you'll be able to use a time value function that comes handy when you have a daytime and you want to extract only time part of daytime, and you were not able to do it until now. So with all those cool features, I wanna give a small demo. And I set up my org before this event. So I have a few fields created, few Picklist fields created on account. And what I want to show here is how I set up a default here. So those fields are using global value set, which I call default value set. And you can see that on default value set, I set up a field to default value to be value 1. And on a field itself, I set it up to be value 2. So I didn't do any complex formula, and it's not necessary that you want to do any calculations. You can just use text. And this is a Picklist value API name, by the way. So now, and I have different default values for different fields that I've created. And when I create a new account, you can see all of them at the same time. So 2 of them resolves to a default value that's set up on a field level, and the third one actually, the formula is not able to resolve it, and so it's rolled up to the global value set. So pretty cool. And that can be spammed across multiple objects. Of course, you don't have to have all your Picklist field on account. It's just for a demo purpose, so have everything on the same page.
I want more Picklists.
More Picklists. Well, more Picklists. And again, this is awesome new setup experience. I really like it. It makes my life much easier as an admin, enlightening. So I have that cool field for promotion. And guess what? We're going to promote it. So as I promised, all you need to do is click Edit on this page. Wow, this is grayed out. What's going on? So the reason, as I mentioned, the field should be restricted. And it gives you a small tip saying that, hey, if you have less than 1,000 values, you should be able to do that.
I think that's a new feature we need to add to the optimizer. If you have more than 1,000 Picklist values, there's probably some problems.
And I totally agree with that. That's one of the reasons we introduced restricted Picklists, because every time you do data loader and something is messed up in your CSV file before, if your field is not restricted, it would just add those values as inactive.
Accidentally create 500 values.
And we had the cases when Picklists have like 10,000 of inactive values. And we're working on some Picklist value management UI which allow you to clear it up more effectively than today. But back to the demo, we can just restrict that. We can just restrict that field by selecting a checkbox when you will need to save it. And now if I go back to edit, the option now is available. So I can just click promote to global value set. All I need to specify is the name of new value set that will be created. And I just click promote to global value set and it will be done. So just as a 2 steps pretty much if you use unrestricted Picklist, or 1 step if you use restricted already.
Great.
And as always, I want to just say to everyone that we really appreciate your ideas. We're trying to do our best to deliver on them. And while it might take us some time, we constantly monitor an idea exchange and trying to be active there, trying to comment and set up expectation on when and what idea would be delivered next. So please keep voting for those ideas. Keep posting your comments. That we clearly listen in.
Let's see, a question from Joseph about the promoted Picklist. So if you promote a global or a standard regular Picklist to a global Picklist, can you do that? Can you actually replace an existing Picklist on a different object? Yeah,
unfortunately, this wouldn't be possible today without pretty much recreating the field. So the promotion tool will help you to promote one single field into global and make that field to use global value set that you create as part of the promotion. And then you can, all the Picklists you create moving forward from it, you can reference them to the global value set. If you have multiple fields that you want to kind of combine into one global value set, you can promote one of them that is most commonly used or have most of the Apex triggers and all the things you created on top of the fields, and then you either recreate other field, or we released an Apex Exchange app that kind of simplifies the process, but pretty much it recreates the field for you and helps you to match the records.
Oh, what's the name of that app?
It's called Picklist Merge.
Picklist merge.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should. I'm going to post that on the community because I think people might really be interested in that because that is like I can see where that question came from because that's the first use case I would think of is I've got all these duplicates, of the same field on multiple objects and I really want to consolidate them. So maybe this app.
Yeah, but just to set up expectation, it will still recreate the field for you. So you will not be able to use the same field name. You'll have to go and update your formula. So pretty much it just automates that you will have to do manually anyway today. So it's not like 100% solutions that we want to see, but based on our priorities, based on the things that we have on our roadmap, that was I believe the right move to deliver. So to kind of satisfy at least some of the cravings around these features.
Like perhaps you have one object where it's used for millions of records, and maybe another object where it's just hundreds of records. You do the one with the millions, right, and then deal with the other ones separately, right? Christopher is asking about the time fields. So he's wondering, will they respect each user's time zone, or is it a static value that requires time zone declaration?
So the time field would function as a clock wall time. So it's time zone independent, and it will be displaying the same time across any user profiles. So you can think about it as one of the business cases for this is like business hours. So your store is open from 9 to 5, or hotel check-in time, or your flight check-in time. So those are time zone independent things. So the time field would work the same way. Or maybe if you're familiar with the business hours as part of your Salesforce configuration, so it mimics the same type of behavior.
And regarding the pilot for time fields is whenever we talk about pilots, it's great to help our admins understand how could they get access to that pilot or whether or not they might be a good fit for that pilot, because there's a lot of types of pilots that we run at Salesforce. If there's admins out there or customers out there that are interested in exploring the time zone or the time field, what's the best way for them to proceed?
So it follows the rules of any pilot, so you'll have to contact the support to enable to file the request, and you need to provide a justification on how you're gonna use the time field. So we're trying to collect as many customers, of course, as we can, but at the same time, since it's pilot, it's a little bit limited and it might not be as fancy as a GA release. So we're really looking forward to work with the customers with a bigger use cases. So if they can describe those to us and provide us feedback after the completing pilot programs, that will be the best way to get into it. And we have a success community group for time field as well. So you can always ask questions there, and I monitor the group as well.
Great, thank you.